All right, so we are going to talk about three primary research skills that are used to take information and put into our research papers. First, we will touch on quotes, then summaries, and then how to paraphrase. So first of all, what are quotes? Quotes are word for word direct copies of what somebody has said. We're not changing anything in this quote. So let's look at some famous quotes. We've got Ella Fitzgerald, Kobe Bryant, Barack Obama, and then of course Michael Scott quoting Wayne Gretzky. Let's look at this story right here. We have Bethany, Sierra, and Rob. So Bethany says, Sierra, can you believe she said that to me? Sierra responds, you mean that she actually said Mark doesn't like her, he's just playing her? Using our prior knowledge, we can recognize these quotation marks. So we know that what is inside the quotation marks is indeed a direct quote. So what does a direct quote look like in a research paper? We're going to reference this Martin Luther King Jr. quote 3 times today. Here's the quote. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. So Martin Luther King says this quote. A direct quote in a research paper, again, does not change anything. So what does this look like? So first we need to introduce the speaker, who said the quote. Then we have a comma to separate our quote. So I say, Martin Luther King Jr. once said, comma, and then insert quote here. I have a dream, etc., etc. Then our quote ends down here. Notice we end our quotation marks, but we do not have punctuation. We will find our punctuation after what is called the citation. Citation is just a fancy way of saying, tell me who said it and when did they say it. So who said it? When did he say it? After the parentheses, that is where you'll see the period. So recap. First, we need to introduce the quote normally with the proper punctuation and the speaker tag. Speaker tag here, he's who said it. Here's our punctuation. Next, we need to end the quote without punctuation, only the quotation marks. And then finally, we're going to include the citation, the author, and the date of the quote, and your punctuation then goes after the parentheses. Next skill is summarizing. How do we summarize? So we need to know that a summary is a brief statement that sums up the big idea. So we're going from a big body of words to a brief statement, okay? Let's go back to Bethany and Sierra talking in the hallway. Bethany said, so I bumped into her in the bathroom. I rolled my eyes. Next thing you know, she was shouting about how Mark doesn't love you and that he actually likes her. I am so sorry, Sierra. Again, summaries, we go from big ideas to one small statement. So we have Rob over here delivering the summary. He says, so Mark is playing you, Sierra. That's the summary statement. We went from big to small. So again, what does a summary look like in a research paper? Same quote from MLK Jr. Let's look at how it's written. Martin Luther King Jr. wants his children to be judged by their character. How does this look different from a direct quote? First of all, you'll notice there's no quotation marks because we're not using a direct quote. Next, you'll see that after the summary sentence, we are ending with the appropriate punctuation, whether it's a question mark, exclamation mark, or period. You put that after the sentence. And then you will put your citation after the summary sentence. Again, who said it? When did they say it? Close off your parentheses. You do not need punctuation after the parentheses now. All right, last skill for researching is paraphrasing. How do we paraphrase? So paraphrasing is basically just rewording the content to increase clarity. Clarity just means how well do we understand it, okay? So back to our story. We've got a very upset Sierra. She runs into Christina outside by the buses, and instead of her telling us the whole story all over again about how she was in English class, and then she was in the hallway, all of those details, we're going to paraphrase it, reword it, so that way Christina really gets the point. The point is, so you are disrespecting my relationship with Mark. So it's kind of like the summary because we went from a big idea to a small idea, but we're also rewording it to get our point across. At no time did we use the word disrespect in any of the story before. Yet Sierra is rephrasing it, rewording it, so that way Christina gets the point. And I would say by looking at her face, she gets it. So finally, what does a paraphrase look like in a research paper? It honestly looks very similar to a summary. We have our paraphrase sentence. Martin Luther King Jr. believes that character is the true measure of a person. We have our written paraphrase sentence. We ended with appropriate punctuation, and then we have our citation. Who said it? When did they say it? No punctuation necessary after the citation. So notice the summary was taking the big idea to the small idea. The paraphrase does take the big idea to a small idea, but they're also rewording it so that way the audience can better understand it and increase clarity. So let's look at these one more time. Direct quote. We have our speaker tag or our introduction to the quote. Direct quote goes inside of the quotation marks. No punctuation here. We have our citation, who said it, when did they say it, end with the punctuation after parentheses. Then your summary. Summaries are statements that emphasize the big ideas. Punctuation goes after the sentence. Then your citation. No punctuation is necessary after parentheses. Finally, paraphrase. Paraphrases reword the content for enhanced clarity to increase our understanding. Again, our sentence ends with punctuation. Then we have our citation, who said it, when did they say it. No punctuation is necessary there. So those are our 3 skills on how to use research skills and insert them into our paper, how to identify them, what do they look like, all of the above. If you have any questions, make sure you review the vocabulary content that's included in your choice board, or you can reach out to your English teacher.